Good morning, everybody. Good morning from Australia. I'm in the Hunter Valley, which is a couple of hours north of Sydney. Thank you for those that are already jumping in there. Thanks, Daniel. Thanks, Carol. Thanks, Fred, for telling us where you're at. For those of you who've joined us already, just while we're waiting for everybody else to join, if you could just take a moment to tell us where you're at right now. And the other thing is, I've dropped already two things into the chat. One is the Facebook group. So if you're not already a member of the Facebook group, take the time and join the Facebook group. It's free. And that's where you see the replays of all of these webinars and any other information that I share. It goes in there. And the other thing is I've dropped in the link for my next webinar, which is 2 weeks from today, why your Facebook ads don't work and 5 ways to fix them. So if you take the time to do that while we're waiting for everybody else, that would be great. As you know, today we're going to talk about likes and follows. I think they're nice, but they're not your goal. And I think there's a little bit of confusion from people. Certainly, I've heard some chatter recently about, I'm not getting people following me. I'm not getting people engaging, all of these things. And yeah, it is nice to have that. But I think that people are missing the point when it comes to social. And that's one of the things that I want to talk about today. So thanks. We've got California a couple of times, Indiana, Oklahoma. Greg is from Greg. I'd love to know where Greg is. Greg, here we go. Greg is in New Jersey. It took him a while, but he got there. Thanks, Greg. Lynn in Minnesota, Marty in California, Indio in California. Marty, where's Indio? I've never heard of Indio. Yeah, we've got a real selection. Haven't got anybody here from Hawaii yet. Normally there's someone in here from Hawaii really early. I'm sure there's someone here near Palm Springs. Thanks, Elaine. Appreciate that. Okay, right. So we're gonna jump in and talk about likes and follows and why they are nice but not essential. Okay, and to me, this is one of those things which I think is more of a confusion than anything else. It's not, there's no hard and fast rules with this, but I think it's something that people get confused on. Or the other thing, which I think that a lot of people, it's one of those things. Sometimes it can be a shiny thing, so we get distracted by it rather than focusing on what really matters. So that's what I wanted to talk about, and how we can avoid being distracted by it and how we can use it to our advantage. Okay. And this slide really sums it up for me. I wanted to include it as a GIF. It's really hard to include it as a GIF. So I've just, I think likes and follows can be addictive, right? Just like a slot machine. They can be addictive. And there's something that can really distract us from what really matters in growing our business. And, for me, that's always the theme, right? As artists, as photographers, it doesn't matter what you create, right? We're creators trying to build a business. And it's that business thing that we forget sometimes. You have to build a business. There's no point having great art that you can't sell because you haven't got a business behind you, okay? So the goal is we're always trying to build our business. We're trying to grow our business. So what we're trying to do is find things that can help us grow our business. And I think that that's the key. So it's not necessarily that we want to grow our profile, we want to grow our likes, we want to grow how many people engage with us. What we want to do is grow our business. And if we think about it that way, then I think it changes the equation a little bit. So these are the things that I wanted to touch on today. So getting likes on social media can be addictive, but what purpose does it serve? Growing your social following is helpful, but maybe not for the reasons that you believe. And I think this is one of the key things. It's just a mind shift rather than anything that you need to do particularly different. Why you should be on social media and which platforms to focus on and why. Okay, the real goal of social media for you and your business. And finally, the whole conversation, and I see this again and again and again. So I thought I'm going to have that conversation and try and put it to bed. The business page versus the personal page, right? Because I think that can be a real distraction. And let's start with that, because I think it's one of those things, and I often see people, I'm on art storefront, so I see lots of conversations about this in Small Wins, which is the Facebook group for art storefronts, but it applies to everybody. And it's simply, I've got 1,000 friends on my personal page. I've only got 50 people who follow me on my business page. Shouldn't I be putting my stuff on my personal page? And my answer to that is always no, right? There is a but. So what I would suggest is you always focus on your business page. So your business page comes first, right? The thing that I hear people saying to me time and time and time again, I don't have enough time to do marketing. Now, if you don't have enough time to do marketing, you don't want to be doing the same thing 3 times, right? You want to do it once, okay? So don't share it on your personal page and on your business page. If you really want to do it on your personal page, what I would suggest is you put the post on your business page and then you share that post to your personal page, right? That's the only compromise I think you should use when it comes to using a business page versus a personal page. So, but why should you focus on the business page? To me, the answer is simple, and it comes back to what I said before. We're trying to build a business, right? Now, when we're trying to build a business, yes, you can get more exposure on a personal page, but you can't leverage that exposure, right? So you can't use that audience on your personal page to help you build Facebook ads. You can't use that audience to help you grow and find new people, right? It just doesn't work. You can't leverage that audience. So while it's nice, my suggestion is simple. Invite all of your friends to like your business page. Some of them will, most of them won't. That's just life. Get over it, right? But then if you really want to continue sharing your business content on your personal page, put the post on your business page first, and then share that post to your personal page. That simple. And, to me, that's the end of that argument of the business page versus the personal page, right? There's lots of other things that people can discuss, but at the end of the day, it comes down to that. The business page helps you leverage and helps you grow your business. Okay. So to me, it's that simple. Okay. But let's go back to the likes on social media. Now, we all like to get more likes. There's no question. And it feels good, right? And I've heard people even saying that feels good. It's almost like that that rush that you get from something like a slot machine or whatever else. It's a good feeling, right? But that feeling is nice, but it's not helping you grow your business necessarily, and that's where the concern is. And I guess the easiest way to put this, and the way that I look at it, is, and if you've been on Small Wins recently, you've seen it, right? There are people that are either having Facebook ban them on Instagram or Facebook, whatever, and there was a recent case, and it's a client that we've worked with. He had his Instagram account hacked. Someone essentially stole his Instagram account, right? Facebook hasn't helped him. Instagram, Meta, whatever you want to call it, they haven't helped him. Basically, they've just said tough luck. So he's lost all of his followers. He's lost access to his account. He's lost access to his intellectual property that was in that account. It's all gone, right? So all of the time and effort he spent on growing that account is now gone. He has to start again from zero. So to me, while it's helpful to have those likes and follows and all of those things, if you focus your effort there, you're focusing your effort in a space that you don't own. Okay, it's not a place that you can control and that you own the space. And Facebook, as you know, likes to change the rules on a daily basis sometimes. And something that you could do no problem 3 months ago, you can no longer do, and it gets your account banned, right? So my philosophy on social is that we use it as a tool to grow your business, right? And remember that it's a tool to help you grow your business. We got a good question here, so I just want to jump into that for a second. Posting to groups, Carol, some groups allow you to post as a business page. So as long as you join as a business page, right? So if you join as a business page, then and they allow that, and the post that they allow in a group is something that you're allowed to share, then that's fine, right? But a lot of groups are a bit finicky. So to me, groups are helpful, and groups are, again, one of those things. The people that I talk to, most of the people that I talk to don't have time to do everything, right? So it's, okay, what do you do that's higher priority? Working with groups can be really helpful for growing your business. There's no question, but you need a lot of time. You need to follow the rules. You need to be making sure you do all the right things. So it's one of those things. To me, it's an optional extra. So if you've got the time, sure, do groups. And yes, many groups allow you to join as your business page. If they don't, then what you can try and share from your personal page to your business or to the group, whatever. Just find ways to work around that. But at the end of the day, that's not a priority. I don't think that groups necessarily are helpful for everybody, purely because they do require a fair amount of investment of time. Okay? So coming back to growing your social following is helpful. It is absolutely helpful, right? And it's really, really cool to get to 500, to get to 1,000, get to 2,000, 5,000 people following your page. That's awesome. It does feel good. To me, there's certainly value in getting your page to 1,000 likes, okay? Because it gives you a level of social proof. So people are saying this isn't a brand new page that hasn't been started tomorrow. They got 1,000 likes. That's a good start, right? And as an artist, that's not a bad start. So there's value in that, absolutely. There's also value in having a larger social following, because particularly on Facebook and Instagram, we can leverage that audience for ads. We can advertise directly to those people, but we can also use those people to create a lookalike audience, which is a group of people who are similar to that, but a much larger group. So let's say you have 5,000 followers on Instagram. We can take those 5,000 followers on Instagram. We can create a lookalike audience. So basically, the lookalike audience looks at those 5,000 people and looks at what characteristics they have similarly. And then it takes that and then extrapolates that out to 5, 10, 20 million people, right? So it then gives you a cold audience that you can target that is more likely to interact with your business, okay? So that's where the social following, to me, is really, really helpful. Where it's not helpful is back to that example, right? You can spend time, you can spend money, and you can certainly spend money growing your Facebook following or your Instagram following, whether you do it through direct advertising or you use pages. Instagram is particularly good with these, where you have pages where they say, oh, we'll do 3 posts for you, it's going to cost you $50 and you're going to get 1,000 new subscribers, whatever, or 1,000 new followers, right? That is where, to me, it's not helpful, because if for any reason you break the rules or you get hacked, you lose it all. So growing your social following and investing money in your social following, I don't believe is the right way to do it. Now, when we work with our clients, we focus on growing the email list. When we grow the email list, as a consequence, we get a bonus. And that bonus is we grow the Facebook or the Instagram following as a consequence of growing the email list. So there's the bonus. We're not actually focusing on it, but we get it as a secondary bonus. Okay, so to me, that's a much better suggestion and a much more realistic way to grow your social following, by focusing on something else like growing your email list. Okay, so we'll talk about that again. What should you be on social media? Why you should be on social media, and which platform should you focus on? Okay, so I'm sure most of you have heard me before. I believe that Facebook is the place for 99% of artists. Okay. Now, Instagram certainly has value, but what I see is that when it comes to building your business again, and that's what it always comes back to me too. If you're building your business, is there more customers on Facebook or Instagram? And for 99% of artists, the answer is Facebook. There's more customers. Okay. Can you use Pinterest? Can you use other forms of social media? Absolutely. All right. But it comes down to priorities and time. If you only have the time to focus on one form of social media, then I would always suggest that you focus on Facebook. Okay. If you've got extra time, great. do Pinterest, do Twitter, do Instagram. It doesn't matter what other ones you do, but focus on Facebook business page as your primary social media. And if you've got time for the others, then do it. That's great. It's not going to do you any harm. But if you've only got limited time, focus on the one that's probably going to give you the most leverage. Okay? To me, it comes back to that same question. What's the best for your business? And right now, Facebook is still the best for your business. Okay? And again, this final one, and I'm going to go into this in deeper. What is the real goal of social media for you and your business? Now, to me, the goal of social media is really simple. It helps you communicate better with your audience and helps you grow your audience and helps you build relationships with your audience. It's a tool for you to help grow your audience and your relationships with those audience. But it's a tool. It's not the all and end all. Okay, it's not the one thing that you need to focus on. And I would always say, and yes, I have a vested interest in it because that's what I help people do, is growing your email list. But at the end of the day, the reason I focus on growing your email list is really simple. You own the email list. Facebook can't take away your email list. If you lose your Facebook page tomorrow, your Instagram page tomorrow, you lose all of those followers, all of the money you've invested in that, it goes down the toilet, okay? If Facebook decides tomorrow they don't want you to use the platform and they boot you off the platform, you still own your email list. If you decide that you don't like Art Storefronts or you don't like Shopify or you don't like MailChimp anymore, you take your data and you move it to the next place. But you always own that email list, and it's your email list, it's your data. You own it. You do not own your Facebook page. You're renting your Facebook page and you're paying for the privilege of using your Facebook page. And if they decide, well, actually, it's not even 99% of the time, it's not even a real human that decides, it's a bot. If the bot decides that you've broken some arbitrary rule, you can lose it all. Okay? So don't invest too much of your time, money, or heart in your Facebook page. Okay? Use it as a tool. Okay, so let's jump into this. Marty's got a question about YouTube advertising. Honestly, I think that for the majority of artists, that YouTube advertising, you need to be really slick with videos if you're going to do YouTube advertising. And most of the people I work with are not technically up to doing that. Okay, you need to be really, really slick with videos to use YouTube advertising. The thing to remember about YouTube, and certainly I use YouTube for my business, is YouTube is a direct competitor with Facebook. Okay? So if you create a great video, and I would rather you created a great content video than a great advertising video. If you created a great video that's content, put it on both platforms, right? Just upload it. You don't need to advertise to use YouTube, right? You can use YouTube for free. And if it is something that's great content, then YouTube's going to show it to more people for you. If it's not great content, then they won't, okay? So, that's a good question. Likes and follows. Oh, yeah. So this slide's out of order. That's why it's confusing me. Okay. So likes and follows are addictive, or can be addictive, but they are not the goal on social media. It doesn't matter what platform you use. They should not be your goal, right? And, you know, while we're talking about YouTube, YouTube is a good one because you get to a certain point and you can get paid, right? That's cool if that's your goal, right? If my goal as an artist or as a photographer is just to get enough subscribers on YouTube so that I'm going to get paid, 1/4 cent every 100 views or whatever it is, or whatever they pay you, that doesn't make any sense. I can sell a single print and make $800, $900, $1,000, $5,000. Why would I be chasing 1/4 cent per, whatever? So social media has its place, and to me, it's a place to help you grow your business. If having views is important to you from, if you're selling classes or something, then having views is important, right? But the majority of artists that we work with, they might do classes, but that's not their primary goal. Their primary goal is to build a business that includes some passive income, because if you're selling prints online, you don't need to be doing a lot of work for those prints. Right? You don't need to be packaging them. They get shipped directly by your print supplier. You're not doing any touch. You're obviously creating the content, right? And you're managing the marketing, but you're not actually doing the direct work in that. You're just taking the profit straight off the top. So that's the goal, right? So let's move on to. That's a good question, Jen, and I'll come back to that in a minute, okay? Because that is an interesting question. So social media helps you grow your business. Now, these are the things that I think social media is really, really helpful for. It helps you communicate with your fans, right? And it absolutely does. You can communicate through a photo, you can communicate through a video, you can communicate even just through a text post, right? But it allows you to communicate with your fans. It allows you to build a group of fans, right? So, but it also helps you build relationships with your fans. And, I've talked about this many, many times. The focus of marketing for artists should be on building relationships. Now, Facebook is a great tool to help you build relationships. It's certainly not the only tool, but it is a great tool for helping you build relationships with your fans. Okay. So use it to help you build relationships. Use it to help you tell stories. And I find that's one of the best ways to build relationship with your fans is telling stories. Okay. It also helps you find new people. But your goal shouldn't be just on finding those people and keeping them on Facebook or on Instagram or YouTube or Pinterest. It doesn't matter. You need to take them off the platform in some way. And that's where the whole advertising to get them, or using your social to get them on your email list, is really, really helpful, and it really helps you grow your business. You don't have to advertise to do that. It's just that advertising allows you to scale a lot quicker than any other method, right? Now, this is really important, and I'm going to talk about an example in a moment, but I honestly don't think that for most of you, and there are always exceptions, and if you're already making good money on your art and you want to find another platform to help you sell more art, then perhaps having a direct store on Instagram or Pinterest or Facebook or whatever, where people can buy directly through that platform, that's great. But for the majority of you, what you're trying to do is you're building your business from scratch, right? So you've built your website, you're building your social following, you're building your email list. You want to have 100% control over your customers. So you want all of the money that gets spent by your customers to be on your website, right? Because the more people that come to your website, the more Google and the other search engines will take notice of your website. If people start spending money on your website, Google sees that too, right? Google Analytics really tracks a lot of information. So they see when people spend money on your website. If more people are spending money on your website, they're going to send more people to your website. So you want to concentrate all of that traffic in one spot. You do not want to dilute it over a multitude of pages. And this is where I struggle with some people who like to have 2 or 3 websites. I think you should have one website. You can build other functionality into that website, but you're driving all of your traffic to one spot, okay? Now, let me remind you of this, because I think that this is really, really, really important. And if you think about social media in this way, then it makes your life so much simpler, because it's a good reminder. So Facebook, Meta, Insta, all of the social media platforms, Pinterest, their job is, or the business model is simply to sell the data of their users to advertisers. So you, as a personal user, they're using your personal data to sell to advertisers. And you only have to look in your Facebook feed or your Instagram feed to see which advertisers are being sold to you, right? Okay, so that's their job. Their platform is just a tool for them to help to sell more advertising. Okay, it's a tool for them to sell more advertising. It's not a social media platform that we used to think it was. Maybe 5 years ago or 10 years ago, but not anymore, right? It's a tool to help sell more advertising. So if you understand that, that's fine. And when you use it, that's fine. That's why when people aren't spending money on Facebook, they complain because they're not getting any exposure on Facebook. It's simple. It's a pay-for-play platform now. It used to be free for businesses. It's no longer free for businesses. You can have a page, and if you don't spend any money, you're going to get very, very little exposure, unless you're in a group where your content is so good that they're able to sell your content, right, by advertising your content, right? But for the majority of users, that's not the way. And that's, that's the whole model that YouTube uses, essentially, for those people that are getting paid to put videos on YouTube. They're getting paid because they're bringing people to YouTube. So YouTube is then able to put ads on top of their content to monetize the platform. But for the majority of artists, the simple answer is Facebook needs you to pay for you to get your content out there. So if you understand that, then you've got a much clearer relationship with those businesses. Okay. Now, I wanted to just have a quick example because there's something that I've seen only in the last week and a half, and it's really, really interesting. And to me, this exemplifies that thing that Facebook is an advertising platform and they want to sell the data, right? So I'm aware of 3 or 4, and I've seen a couple come through my inbox where if you create a Facebook store, an Instagram store, and you allow them to handle the payment from the customer, right? So essentially the person stays on Facebook or on Instagram, they buy your product, right? You get sent the shipping details, but they process the payment, take their cut off the process payment, and then just send you the net, right? Just like art storefronts takes a cut, right? Facebook want to take a cut. Now, they really want to get into this space. You know how desperate they are to get in this space? They're prepared to give some people $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 worth of advertising for free for them to switch to this space. Now, to me, that says everything about the monetization. And the one thing I will say straight up is, personally, I will never, ever give that control to Facebook, Meta, Instagram, whatever you want to call it. I will never give them that control unless I have no choice. If I have a choice in the matter, then I'm not going to give them that control. Because the moment they start handling my customer data is the moment they start turning into a Fine Art America where you just get a commission, you don't know who you've sold to, and you've lost control of your business. Okay? It's that simple. If all you care about is money in the bank, then you might want to do that, right? But I care about growing my business, and the only way I can grow my business is if I know who my customers are and I can market directly to my customers, have conversations directly with my customers. And if Facebook gets into that space, then it's only a matter of time before they take that control off you and they just say, you sold $1,000 worth of art last month. Here is your commission of $400. All right, that's where it will go. Right, they will be the new gallery. They will be the new gallery. They'll control the relationship, and you won't have any control of your business or the relationship with your clients. So my suggestion is, if you get one of those offers, as tempting as it looks, don't do it. All right, I don't care if it's $5,000. It's $5,000 because they know that they want your business. All right, that simple. Okay, I'm just going to stop for a second. What about using YouTube to increase your email list subscribers? Jen, I think there is a place for that, but what I want, the easiest way to grow your email list is to get people to your website, to a specific landing page. And again, I want to make that as easy as possible for my clients, and I want to drive traffic to my website. So the answer is I haven't tried it, but in my mind, it doesn't necessarily work on YouTube. Okay, it may work with Google advertising. I'm not sure it will work with the YouTube advertising. Yeah, Carol, the NFTs, they want 50% commission. Yeah, it's an insane amount of money, and then you've got to actually sell the NFTs anyway. Now, I have dabbled in NFTs both as a buyer and a seller, and honestly, I've spent a lot more money than I've made, and I have made zero. Okay, and I'm testing weird stuff. I'm also buying NFTs and trying to flip them. I'm trying to learn this space. So I've invested some money because I want to try and learn it, because if there's an opportunity for us as artists, I want to try and explore that. But what I see is that the NFT space has been taken over already, if not from the beginning, not by artists, but by marketers. Okay. The NFT space is really, really heavy in marketers, not so much in artists. A lot of the digital art's being created is being created by AI. It's not even being created by real people. Okay. So yeah. Court, yep, we've had that conversation about that, and yeah, I'm really concerned about that whole process. I'll be really interested to see how that goes for you in 6 months' time or 12 months' time. So let's go into what I think you should be paying Facebook for, right? Or Instagram, Meta. I don't care what you call it, right? To me, it's always going to be Facebook, but the company is now called Meta. Instagram is part of the Meta group, so is Facebook. I think you should only pay them for two things. One is to get email addresses in your inbox, okay? And for 99% of the people here today, that's the only thing you'll pay them for, certainly in the short term, okay? Growing your email list. Once you've got 3, 4, 5,000 people on your email list and you're selling regularly off your website, then we can start paying them to help increase our sales. Right? But you never start with sales. I can guarantee you, if you just put an ad on Facebook and say, here's my great print, buy it, you're going to get nothing. All you're going to do is spend lots of money. The only way Facebook helps you increase sales is helping you increase sales. So what you're already doing in sales, it can help you grow that. Okay. Now, Natalie's business, most of you know that I run my friend Natalie's business. She sells, right now we're on track for 200, 250 this calendar year in sales, online sales, right? So not originals, just prints, calendars and cards. Okay. So we spend about $1,000 a month on advertising, and some of that money goes towards sales. Some of that money goes towards growing the email list, right? But we were doing 100K last year, right? So we're using Facebook to help us increase the sales. If your sales are zero and you're not selling, Facebook is not going to help you increase your sales. Use it to help you grow your email list, okay? I think that's really, really important. What's DAO? Carol, tell me more. It's probably an acronym for something that I know what it is, but I'm not sure right now. Okay, so what do you use social media for? Number one, finding new fans. It's a great place to start, bringing people to you. They get to see your work, and Facebook and Instagram are very visual mediums, so it's really good for us as artists. Okay, you can use videos, you can use stills. It doesn't really matter, but a great way for new people to find you through your own art, right? Number two, it helps you build relationships with your fans. Now, relationships is the thing that's going to sell you more art than anything else. So if you can use Facebook and Instagram or any other social platform to help people understand more about you and your art, you're telling stories, that's going to help you build relationships, which is fantastic. And that's what social media is really powerful for. Number three, turning fans into leads, okay? It's really nice to have 1,000 followers on Facebook, but if you've got 10 people on your email list, what we want to do is turn those 1,000 people on the follower to 1,000 email lists on the email list, because that's much more valuable to you. It's like 1,000 times more valuable to you. So focus on turning your fans into leads, right? But by whatever method works for you. Okay. And then rinse and repeat. Right? You should be doing this every single day, every single month, every year, right? It's something you don't just do for a week or a month or 2 months. And if you're really irregular on social media, then you're going to get an irregular response. The first thing you should do is commit to posting daily. It makes a massive difference, okay? Post daily on social. My suggestion is you post daily on Facebook on your business page, and if you've got time, do Instagram, do Pinterest, do whatever else, but start with Facebook. Okay, I'm just going to go back to this DAO. It's a gallery for NFT. Okay, yep, no problem. So hard making collectives. Okay, good. How do you get emails from Facebook? Okay, that's a good question, and we're going to talk about that. Digital art online. Okay, so I'm using OpenSea when I'm buying NFTs and looking at selling NFTs. So I'll have to have a look at that one. Digital art online. I'm just going to write that down so I don't forget, because I think that that's worth having a look at. Okay. Next. Right. So I'm going to jump into some questions. So if you've got more questions about this, because this is one of those sessions that it really is a bit interactive. I should have encouraged questions earlier, but I think that the key with this is that social media is a tool. Don't rely on it as your primary anything. Use it as a tool. So Lynn asked the question, how do you get emails from Facebook? You can't get them directly from Facebook users. Not in the way is you can go, okay, I've got 1,000 followers, let's just download their email addresses. That doesn't work. There was a time when you could do that. It was a very short period of time, but there was a time. The way we get email addresses from Facebook is we use Facebook ads primarily. That's how we do it because it's really effective. We use Facebook ads, drive people to a print giveaway, and we get them to sign up to win the print giveaway, and we collect their email addresses. That's the simplest answer. Okay, that allows us to turn our fans and our new followers into potential leads. Okay, potential customers, potential collectors. Because the end of the day, what are we trying to do? Grow our business. And we grow our business by building relationships with our fans and our followers. And the ones that we can control, the only ones that we can control, are the ones that are on our email list, because we own the email list. Facebook doesn't own our email list. Instagram doesn't own our email list, but they own your followers, right? So you want to turn your followers into leads by getting their email address, okay? There's many ways that you can do that using ads. We've simplified it using a landing page and ads, and we find that that's the most effective way. I'm always trying to look for new ways and more effective ways, and certainly ways that are cheaper. But at the end of the day, right now, this is still the most effective way to grow your email list. Okay, so we got any other questions? Because if we don't, that's fine. We'll finish early. I'm happy to finish early because it's nice to not have a big session. But certainly the goal for social media isn't likes and follows. It's helping you build those relationships and getting those email addresses. Okay, and if you remember this thing, just going to go back a couple of slides. Facebook, Meta, Insta, Pinterest, all of those social media platforms, their business model is to sell the data of their users to advertisers, okay? Now, if you as a business are not advertising on their platform, they don't give you a lot of love. That's just the way life is. You can hate it, and I still see people whinging about it every week. You can hate it all you like. It's just tough luck. That's just the way life is, okay? So they're trying to sell, they're trying to grow their business. If you can use those platforms as a tool for you to grow your business, that's fantastic. If you can't, then it's really hard. Okay. Are the ads for cold or warm audiences? Okay, June, that's a really good question. So for the majority of our clients we work with, we're targeting cold audiences. Now, the reason we target cold audiences is really simple, is their warm audiences aren't big enough. Okay, if you come to me and you've got 100 followers on Facebook, or even 1,000 followers on Facebook, it doesn't matter, right? We can't leverage 1,000 followers. So advertising to your warm audience will cost us a lot of money and will have really low results. So, and if you've got 5,000 or 10,000 followers on Facebook or Instagram, then we're certainly going to advertise to your warm audience. Okay, but if you've got a few hundred or even 1,000, we're not going to waste your money advertising to your warm audience. What we're going to do is find new people, right? Because we want to grow your audience. So we're going to go wider, and that's what a cold audience is. We're trying to find people who are interested in work that's similar to yours but don't know who you are, and that's the definition of a cold audience. So we target cold audiences to get them to become fans, to sign up for your email list, and then potentially be customers and collectors. Okay, so that's why we do it that way. We do target warm audiences for some of our clients, and we certainly target warm audiences within my own business because we actually have 3 levels of audience that we target. So we have cold audience. So cold audience is someone who's never heard of you. Okay, a warm audience is someone who's heard of you, but they don't yet trust you. Okay, Or even, and I know I've said this before, but I think it's really important. As artists, I think people need to fall in love with us and our work. So we call those audiences the final level of audience, a remarketing audience. So they're the people that are most likely to buy. And they're the only group that we would advertise to try and sell stuff to. So these are people who've known you for a while. They've got to know you and your work. They've shown indicators that they're interested in buying. So they've added a product to a cart, or they've had a good look at a product. That's a remarketing audience. So a warm audience is someone who knows you who you are, but they're not quite ready to buy. They're not at the trust level. But a remarketing audience is the audience that we believe is the most effective to advertise to purchasing, because they know you best, they trust you best. Okay. Glenn, very happy with the results. Thank you. Flat out asked your followers on Instagram if they'd like to join my list. Maybe it works 1/3 of the time. Jen, that's a great tool, right? You probably turn some people off, but it's free. It just costs you time. And if you've got plenty of time, absolutely chase all of the opportunities that are in front of you. The thing I keep hearing from the people that I work with is, I don't have enough time to market, right? And when I've got more time, I don't want to spend my time sitting at my desk doing marketing. I want to spend my time at the easel painting, or I want to spend the time out exploring and taking photos, right? So if you've got tons of time, there are plenty of free ways to grow your email list. There's no question. And if you just Google free ways to grow your email list, there are thousands of suggestions. And what you're doing is one of them. Absolutely. But it is very labor intensive, right? Because you've got to ask the question, and maybe you can automate that. Maybe you can't. I don't know. But then you've got to then take that out. Then you've got to add it to your email list, and there's a lot of work involved. So for a lot of people, that's just too much work. Okay. I turned off my likes. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean by turn off your likes on Instagram. I didn't know you could turn off likes. Okay, explain that for me, Nancy. How often should we run ads and giveaways? That's a really good question, and my answer for that is really simple. We run back-to-back giveaways, so we'll run a giveaway for the whole month. So for the whole of, we're in April right now, whole of April we run one ad. Okay, we run one giveaway, and then we start setting up a May ad and a May giveaway. We run an ad for the entire month. So we're running ads every single day of the year round, trying to grow our email list. And in my business, we spend between $200 and $500 a month, depending on what month it is and what else is going on in the business, just on growing the email list. Okay. We believe that for our customers, for most people, $150 to $300 is plenty. But we certainly have clients that are spending $400, $500, $600. We had a client that's spending $1,000 a month, okay, growing their email list only, okay? So it certainly is. That's interesting, Carol, because I did like 500 Picks, certainly back in the day when it was really powerful. It was a great, really good platform. Glenn lost his Insta page after security go. Yeah, okay. So you might get that back, Glenn. You just don't know. But at the end of the day, followers are ephemeral. Right? You don't own them. You can invest all the money you like in growing your following. You can lose it tomorrow. Okay. So be careful spending your money growing your following. Okay. Katie, video ads, yes and no. It depends on what the ad's for. Right? Again, I believe you should only pay Facebook for two things. One is to get someone in your email list, and two is to sell something. And you can't do the sell something until you're already selling regularly and until you've got a decent size following. I recommend just using videos on Facebook full stop, or Instagram full stop, because they are really effective, right? And they're trying to push more videos. You know why they're trying to push more videos? It's because they're trying to steal advertising dollars from YouTube, right? That simple. Facebook wants to be the new YouTube. They're a direct competitor to YouTube, so they just want to steal advertising dollars from YouTube. So they're pushing video really, 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 really hard. Okay, and they've stolen all of the tools from everybody else. You know, right now Facebook Reels is TikTok, right? It's really easy. It's all in the same app. You don't have to go look at the TikTok app. It's all in Facebook Reels. Okay, so yes, videos are really important. Should you be advertising on video? Again, my question is, what are you advertising for? Right, we found with lead generation, we don't need videos. We just use a still, and it works really, really powerfully, and we get really, really good results from a still image. Okay, so we don't need to use videos. Okay, but there's absolutely a time and a place for video ads. But again, what is your goal? Okay. Thanks, son. Really appreciate that. Okay, you can hide your likes. Okay, I didn't know that. That's cool. Thanks, Nancy. And that you're right. It takes the pressure off you. If you're not looking at whether your likes are going up or down, what you should care about, and this is, and I believe this is the same when it comes to, people are always asking me, what's my email open rate? I don't look at it. I really don't. What I look at is three things, right? So number one, am I getting replies in my inbox? So if I send out an email this morning to my email list, did I get replies in my inbox? Okay, so that's the first one. Number two, is it driving traffic to my website? So if I send out an average email, there's 5 or 6 links in that email to my website, to specific products or specific galleries, right? Is it driving traffic to my website? If the answer is yes, that's great. And then the final question is it increasing my sales? If I send out an email, do I get sales from that email? Right? If those three things aren't happening, then I might look at my open rate. But to me, the open rate is just a number. What matters is the relationships and the actions that are taken. So what I focus on is what actions are taken by the people on my email list, and are those actions helping me grow my business? And that's the other one. And, I saw there was a comment, someone today really, really upset. They were getting emotional about the fact that they lost a follower on their email list. I don't care, right? My question is my email list growing? If my email list is growing, I don't mind losing people, because people that decide that they don't want to follow you on subscribe to your email list anymore are just telling you that they're not your people, which means you don't have to waste any time on them, because they're not your people. So accept that and move on. There are people in our lives every single day that we have to deal with that we don't want to deal with, right? So there's plenty of people that we don't have to deal with, and we don't want to deal with them. Let's not deal with them. That's cool. Just accept it. It's a fact of life, and move on. Okay? Doing this can really get you stressed if you worry about those little numbers, right? They don't matter. What matters is the actions that people take. Okay? Right. I'm going to end up really quickly, but I'm just going to see. No. So June's saying, is it because we have a really large audience that still images work for you, or someone with a small earlier? No. So there's two parts to that. So absolutely, video is really, really important. The reason video is really important is because if someone looks at a still image, right, on Facebook or Instagram, you can't tell if that person's looked at that still image for a microsecond or 10 minutes, right? Because it's just a still image, right? But if you put a video up, let's say it's a 2-minute video, and half the people watch at least half of the video, then that's showing that the content is really good, right? And people are engaged with the content. Your audience is engaged with the content. And we can leverage that in ads, right? So it is a higher level of engagement from a video, and that helps us get a higher quality audience that we can then advertise to. But at the end of the day, what we found when it comes to lead generation, doesn't matter whether you're someone who's got no email list right now or someone who's got 10,000 people on your email list, we find we get very similar results whether we use a video or we use stills. Okay? So that's my answer. Yeah, turn those unsubscribe notifications off. That's a great point, Jen. Right, look at it maybe once a month, have a look and say, is your email list growing or is it shrinking? If your email list is shrinking, then you need to look. But if your email list is growing, then don't worry about it, okay? Court, I totally get that. So I have in my email list, when I archive my list, so I archive the people who unsubscribe, but I have an exception in that rule, is I don't archive my customers. Right, I keep my customers on the email list because I want to keep tracking them in MailChimp, even though I can't send to them, right? Because MailChimp, Art Storefront sends some really good data across to MailChimp, and it's really helpful, right? You can actually leverage that audience by creating a segment and exporting that and using it as a Facebook audience, right? So there are tools around that, but I've got no problem with people who are customers that unsubscribe, as long as they stay customers. Okay, so don't get offended by it. A lot of people just don't want their emails. I had someone complain the other day that she got too many emails. Yes, she signed up in the week where Mother's Day, and we sent 4 emails in 10 days, right? We don't send nearly as many emails as some people do, but we sent 4 in 10 days, and she thought that was too many, right? She still wants to be on the email list. She said, but can I only get it once a month? Unfortunately, right now, it's really hard to do that functionality in MailChimp. So I've just said, no, I'll unsubscribe you, and maybe follow on Facebook and look when you want to. Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So archive your unsubscribes so you don't have to pay for them. And that's the difference. So when you look at your list in MailChimp, you'll have 2 numbers. You'll have your total number and the number of subscribers. The total number is what you pay for. And if there's a massive difference between those two, go in and archive all of the unsubscribers, because once they archive, you stop paying for them. Okay. Right. So I think we're done with questions today. I'm going to finish up. So I'm just going to come through my quick little spiel. We help artists by helping them grow their email list. Okay, we take away all of the noise and help you focus on the stuff that really helps you grow your business. Right? These strategies that we use for our clients are exactly the same strategies that we've used to build our 6-figure business, which this year, my goal is 250K. Okay, we make the email list building as easy as possible so you can stop worrying about growing the email list and start focusing on the relationships, because it's the relationships that are going to sell you the art. Okay, so if you can focus on building the relationships rather than where your next email subscriber is coming from, then you're going to grow your business quicker. So that's how we help. I will put the link up in a moment on how, if you want to have a chat, we can have a chat by doing a artist suitability call. But yeah, our goal is to help you grow your business by taking the fuss out of growing your email list. Okay, so if you would like to have a chat, having a chat with me costs you nothing. It's just 20 minutes out of your day, and we certainly can help you grow your email list today and in the future so that you can focus on growing your business. So I'm just going to share that last bit because it cut it off. And yeah, thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I really, really appreciate it. I hope you can see me again in 2 weeks' time. In the 2 weeks' time, we have a good subject, and I'm just going to finish copying this one in so I can concentrate on what I'm trying to say. What we're going to do in 2 weeks' time is focus on why your Facebook ads don't work, 5 ways to fix them. So if you're a newbie, then this is a really important session for you. If you're one of my clients or one of my past clients, then this session may not be for you, right? Because we're really focusing on things that people are doing, making their mistakes, making mistakes themselves. But if you're a newbie to Facebook advertising, you've tried it and failed, or you're thinking about trying it, this is a really good session to help you understand what you need to worry about and how you can avoid those mistakes. So if you can join me in 2 weeks' time, I'd love you to join me. Here's the link for the webinar, and yeah, you have a great day. I did see one little quick question. I'm just going to see if I can fit it in. Marty, yeah, we've tried all sorts of things as far as motivators other than print giveaways. We find that the print giveaway is the most effective. But the interesting thing with the print giveaway, and this is something we've experimented with really a lot, we found we get the same results with a $30, $40, $50 product as we do with a $1,000 or $5,000 product. So what we recommend is something that's cost you $10, $15, something you sell for $50 to $100, and that gets the same results as if you put up a print giveaway that's worth $1,000. Okay, So what we've tried to do is make it as simple as possible. Okay, well, thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate your time today. Thank you for joining me. And once this webinar, I'm able to download it and upload it to the various channels, I will send out an email with the replays and everything else. But thank you for joining me, and have a wonderful Tuesday evening for most of you, Wednesday for those of you that are already in tomorrow. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.